Greetings, adventurers, and welcome back to the Den of the Drake. Other dragons hoard gold, while I hoard internet cringe. In the world of Dungeons and Dragons, there are many... crap, I forgot the script. Cameraman, what was my line again? Larry, give me my line! Great, now where did that stupid kobold run off to? You know, Susan, I don't normally say this, but I think that you and I have really formed a strong connection tonight. A reservation! You're telling me
God,
that
please
I
not
need a
now.
reservation. Well, I got a reservation for you right here. It's under the name Ligma. Now get out of my way. Hey, Larry, you didn't tell me we were going to dinner tonight. Your wig's looking badass, by the way.
Drake, I said that I'm going to dinner tonight.
Wig?
Oh yeah, 2 out of 3 men start losing their hair before the age of 35, and let's just say that old Larry here is all 2 of them.
Hey!
I told him that he should have signed up for Keeps. After all, Keeps offers clinically tested and research-backed products to halt hair loss in its tracks.
You don't have hair either, kid.
We're not talking about me. So anyway, this little guy looks at me and says,
Drake, I'm not signing up for a service like that. There's no way I can afford it on the salary you give me.
So not only is he stupid, but he's also broke.
Shut up!
Everyone knows that Keeps is one of the most affordable hair loss products on the market, and it gets delivered straight to your door. You don't even need to go to the doctor or a pharmacy to get quality care with Keeps.
Don't listen to him, Susan. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I absolutely know what I'm talking about, you little red ignoramus. Keeps has a whole network of medical advisors, prescribers, and care specialists to make their customers' hair goals a reality. Each treatment plan comes with a year's worth of free messaging where you can message your prescribing doctor about anything, anytime.
Drake, I am begging you. Please just go home.
No can do, little buddy. I'm already in too deep. Hair loss stops with Keeps. To get 50% off your first order, go to keeps.com/denofthedrake or click the link in the description. That's keeps.com/denofthedrake.
I think the state is over.
So, you're coming into work tomorrow, right?
Why do you hate seeing me happy?
You know, after ruining my favorite kobold's chance at love by roasting his bald little head, I've kickstarted a bit of a judgmental streak in my heart. So, in the spirit of shaking things up and picking on the little guy, I think it's time that we take a look at some D&D related posts on r/am-I-the-a-hole. For those who are unaware, AITA is a subreddit where users go online and post interpersonal conflicts and ask us, the reader, to judge their actions using 3 notable categories. You're the a-hole, not the a-hole, and everybody sucks here. And it just so happens that I know a certain red prick who has a bit of a habit of judging anonymous people on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, court is now in session, so let's go ahead and dive right into the judgmental world of r/am-I-the-a-hole. Enjoy. Story number 1 is written by user Throwaway2164. F you, it's a throwaway. And is titled, AITA for kicking a girl out of my D&D group. Okay, so I'm in a D&D group with about 9 people. 2 of the people in the group are dating, Sal and Maria. It just came out that Sal actually cheated on Maria. This prompted Maria to dump Sal even though Sal wanted to try and make things work. Thing is though, Maria can't even stand being in the same room as Sal now. Sal's fine, which has led Maria to ask us to stop inviting Sal to our bi-weekly D&D sessions for the time being. The problem is that the people in the group are closer and have known Sal for much longer, and we told Maria that she would just have to deal with it. This caused her to flip out over text, so we kicked her from the group chat and told her that she couldn't come to D&D anymore, as long as she's being this emotional. I told my sister what happened and she made me feel like shit. So Reddit, AITA? Oh god, we're starting off strong with this one. So I don't think Maria actually did anything wrong. Look, I'm about to lay down a pretty controversial take here, so prepare yourselves. Being cheated on doesn't feel very good. But at the same time, it would be kind of unreasonable for you to just kick Sal from the group, considering that the group has known Sal for a lot longer. That being said, I definitely think that you're the a-hole. Mostly because of how you went about communicating with Maria. I mean, look at this shit.
We told Maria she just had to deal with it. We told her that she couldn't come to D&D anymore as long as she is this emotional.
As if she didn't just get cheated on by someone who's supposed to be her partner. Look, I get being loyal to your friend, but you could have easily said, "Hey Maria, most of the group has known Sal for a long time and we really don't want to kick him out of the group. We're really sorry and we hope that you can continue being our friend." I also love the little details here.
This prompted Maria to dump Sal, even though Sal wanted to try and make things work.
And
Maria can't even stand being in the same room as Sal now. Sal's fine.
okay, as if Sal didn't cheat on this poor girl and then just try to continue life as if nothing happened. I admire your loyalty to your friend, but a cheater is a cheater. And cheaters don't get a lot of sympathy from me. And because of that, you are the a-hole. But I'm so f***ing happy that Sal's doing okay. Story number 2 is written by user EnvironmentalNeck38 and is titled, "Would I be the a-hole for asking someone in D&D to tone down their furry stuff?" I play D&D with a group of friends and we all have a lot of freedoms in creating our own characters. This usually leads to all sorts of fun antics and shenanigans as a lot of people from different walks of life. I have nothing against the furry community or my friend, who is a furry, but recently it's been making me increasingly uncomfortable that their character borders on something very like puppy play. That is to say that his character is a dog/wolf boy. Now, just being a dog/wolf boy isn't the problem at all. The problem comes from the fact that the player made lore about a group of people who decided that they want to be like dogs mentally, and it just made me feel really uncomfortable in a role-playing aspect because the idea of treating a character, who is an anthropomorphic dog person, as a literal dog feels super strange. This player also has a history of furry characters and even playing as actual dogs. At one point, they wanted a domesticated anthropomorphic dog race, and I asked them not to due to the implications. If it was an actual dog, I feel like I wouldn't mind, but the fact that they're anthropomorphic is really weird. I also don't want to cramp a player's style or shame them for what they enjoy, and I don't know if it'd be an asshole thing for me to bring it up at all, as it would definitely make things very awkward. But WIBTA if I told them to tone it down, or WIBTA if I started not engaging in RP as much because of this. I just cannot escape these people no matter what subreddit I go to. Seriously, all I did was go to r/AITA, type in D&D into the search bar, and there it is. I've touched on this in previous videos that were interpreted by some people as me bullying the furries, about how a good chunk of the furry community is allergic to the concept of consent. I do not care what backwards logic that you throw at me. You cannot tell me that wanting to be domesticated isn't some fetish shit. D&D is a team game where everyone is intimately involved with the setting and the characters. As such, trying to slyly insert a kink into a game like this is forcing these people, who did not consent, to engage with you in a sexual manner, which is fucking disgusting. There is nothing wrong with setting boundaries, and the fact that there's even a concern about cramping the player's style speaks volumes about where we're at as a species. Want to talk about cramping his style? How about we shove his style into a suitcase and then throw it into the vacuum of space? Then we can really talk about how cramped his style can really be. Not the a-hole OP. You set your boundaries and you stick with them. Story number 3 comes from user Squiddy404 and is titled AITA for stealing from another person in D&D. I had one character who stole from another character basically, because we walked into a room and since he was the loudest, he would always sweep up the loot and distribute it however he saw fit, meaning that he would keep all the cool trinkets and give the druid a weapon that they couldn't use because he was a mage. My lizard sorcerer, who hadn't gotten anything, grabbed a crystal out of his hand. He tried to get it back unsuccessfully as my character stuffed it into one of his 100 pockets. Later, he refused to give my character even a share of anything until I gave him back the only item that I had gotten. It turned out to be a magic stone that could cast fireballs. I ended up casting Suggestion, a spell that lets you influence a creature's actions on him, and he failed to save. But the player was stubborn and basically gave me a little more gold, but still not my fair share. The DM did not seem to care about any of what happened. AITA? Well, this one's simple. You're the asshole, your buddy's an asshole, and the DM's an asshole. You are an a-hole for not speaking to everyone like an adult and just assuming everyone at the table is a mind reader. Your buddy is an a-hole because nobody likes a loot hog. And the DM is an a-hole for not doing their job as a DM and stepping in to shut down your buddy's loot goblin tendencies. I would argue that the DM is the most in the wrong here, though. By ignoring the problem and just letting it continue, he's painting a giant sign that reads, "Your actions do not have consequences, Lamau." A lot of the time when a loot item is introduced, it can lead to some serious inter-party conflict. What I find works best is to have the intended player discover the item that's meant for them. Make sure it's the rogue that finds the boots of elven kind, or the barbarian that finds the belt of dwarven kind, or the min-maxing Sorcetin who finds the Reddit account of virgin kind, and so on and so forth. Everyone DMs differently, and each DM is going to have their own approach to dividing loot and maintaining party relations, but this ain't it. Everybody sucks here. Story number 4 is titled, "Am I the a-hole for going on my phone during D&D sessions?" Yes, you are. Okay, I should probably do my job and read the story, but I should also be perfectly honest and say that I'm only reading it to see if everyone else is an a-hole too. The title makes this sound like a simple situation, but it's anything but. I've been close friends with one guy for several years now. Recently, we decided to join a D&D group together. The sessions have been going well, except during some sessions where I'll usually go on my phone while others are doing things that don't concern me. I have pretty severe medically diagnosed ADHD, and most of the ways I treat it medically, medication, psychologists, behavioral specialists, are blocked off to me for various reasons. It is very difficult for me to keep my attention on the game at all times as a result, and my friend is aware of this. He has brought up his concerns with this in the past, and I have acted in a way that I shamefully admit was pretty dismissive, and could have been interpreted as me not taking his concerns very seriously. I also have short-term memory problems. For instance, when we were discussing over text what we should try to do in the next session, he brought up a combat combo between us that would be very powerful. When the opportunity came up to use it, I forgot about it, and he needed to remind me. He may have interpreted this as another sign that I don't take him seriously as a person, as I heard him say, "Don't you read anything I send you?" in a somewhat defeatist tone. Last session it came to a head. After the session, he wanted me to hurry up so we can leave and carpool home. And I was talking with other friends and generally joking around with memes and such. He finally stormed out of the room, and when I caught up to him, he was making a pointed attempt to avoid me. We went home and I attempted to talk to him the next session, but he specifically avoided me and took another ride home. Yesterday marks the 3rd session that he has avoided speaking and interacting with me outside of the context of the game. I saw this as petty and drove to his house, texting him that he should come outside and talk to me so that we could settle the matter privately. He refused and did not meet with me. I feel as though my actions during the time we are playing together are unobtrusive, as I have asked others, including the DM, and they have said that, while sometimes annoying, it's not too serious of an issue. I also feel that his response is pretty childish, especially since I have accepted some of his antisocial behavior in the past. Initially not wanting to join, not going to a birthday get-together with other common friends for no good reason, etc., etc. But he responds to my issues in a much more hostile way, and then refuses to open a dialogue. I feel that he feels that I do not take his concerns or him as a person seriously. He may think that I have not seriously tried to at least humor him for the relatively short D&D session. He may believe that I do not think he is worth cutting out some time in my somewhat low-responsibility life in order to simply pay attention and listen to him. These issues have likely built up for years, as he is very slow to anger. AITA? So, I'm choosing to stand by my original statement that OP is an asshole. At least from a DM perspective, the amount of effort that it takes to be a DM can be pretty draining, and it can be really discouraging to just be ignored. If I just wanted to talk to myself while being completely and utterly ignored by the world on a Saturday night, I would just do what I normally do. Long story short, don't be on your phone at the table. It's rude to not only the DM, but also to other players who would like their time in the spotlight. Taking out your phone when you're not involved in something is putting up a neon sign that says, "Nothing else matters if it's not about me," whether that was your intention or not. But I'm also having a hard time just giving a straight "you're the a-hole" rating because your friend isn't exactly creating an environment where things are gonna get better. As someone who also has short-term memory problems, I can tell you right now that if you try to pull the silent treatment on me, I will literally forget that there was ever a reason that you could have ever been mad at me. While I do think that your friend has every right to be mad at you, I'm not going to pretend like he's going about it the right way. So I'm just going to lay down a nice, satisfactory "everybody sucks" here. Our fifth and final story comes to us from user Dungeon Master 434343. AITA for breaking up a D&D group when my boyfriend left me. Throwaway because, well, I'd rather not announce myself brazenly to the world. So here's what happened. My Dungeons & Dragons group consisted of me, DM, my now ex-boyfriend, and two of our friends. We would play weekly-ish whenever our schedules lined up, and had a grand old time. My boyfriend recently broke up with me, and not in the most nice way either. But neither of our two friends supported the idea of me kicking the ex out and either playing with the two of them or finding another person to play in his place. So I said, fine, I'll leave then. But friends would not have that either. They said that they just wanted to finish the campaign and didn't want to find a new DM. We live in a small city/large town, and there's not a ton of D&D action around. All DMs that we know have their own games already. I basically made it clear that either the ex leaves or I do. They said neither option worked, so I just decided not to schedule any more meetings. I used to be the one coordinating the schedule, because it's not like they can make me DM, right? I should add that the ex was on their side, saying that we should all just play together as normal and not let our breakup affect things. Now both friends and my ex are texting me asking when we're gonna have the next session. I told them never, and that they're telling me that I'm an asshole for ruining their fun, breaking up the gaming group, etc., etc., and that it's unfair of me to ask them to pick sides. I wasn't trying to make anyone pick between us, but I just don't want to do shared activities with my ex anymore. AITA, I just don't want to see him after what he said to me. The entitlement of some people. I want everyone to pay attention because what I'm about to say is important. There is not a single person on planet Earth who does not hold the right to simply not interact with you. Period. End of story. It doesn't matter what their reasoning is. If someone does not want to interact with someone, there is no scenario where forcing them to interact with that person is justified. We don't know what OP's ex said to them, but frankly, it doesn't matter. Nobody is entitled to you, whether you are acting as a romantic partner or as a DM. A sad reality of our hobby is that a vast majority of campaigns fall apart before they reach their end. often with no explanation at all. OP definitely did the right thing here because this campaign was definitely gonna die. It's better that they were honest with their group and elected to give their game a swift and painless death, instead of the long and drawn-out one that would have inevitably happened if they just gritted their teeth and pretended like everything was okay. Hell, most campaigns don't even get that. It's a tale as old as time, OP, and a sad one at that. But at least you can take solace knowing that the cartoon dragon from the internet thinks that you are not the a-hole. Well, that was a nice little adventure into a different subreddit. You guys seem to really enjoy these dips into AITA. Unfortunately, there aren't that many interesting D&D related posts on the subreddit, so I really gotta pace myself so I don't run out of content for you guys. But regardless, it always feels good to stretch the wings and diversify. You see, I'm like a Switch Army knife. I have the uncanny ability to be a complete and utter reprobate in any situation. Now before we go, let's take a look at this week's Gallery of the Drake. This week's fan art comes from viewer Maple Ruffs, and depicts a scene that many disappointed adventurers looking to steal treasure from my hoard find waiting for them.
Come on then, the dragon's hoard is just around the corner. We just need to...
Do you mind? I'm having a private moment here.
Are you cuddling with a pile of Reddit karma?
No, I only go to cool websites like Facebook and coolmathgames.com.
That looks a lot like Reddit karma.
No, you don't understand. I'm doing it ironically. Thank you again, Maple Ruffs, for submitting your art. If you want to see your artwork featured in Gallery of the Drake, be sure to send it to the email in my About section. Fan art is my favorite part of doing YouTube, and it means the world to me that I can inspire artists like you to create artwork like this. With the stories over and artwork displayed, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you feel like supporting the channel further, my Patreon link is in the description. I would like to thank you all for listening, and I hope to see you next time in the Den of the Drake.